Hi everyone, welcome back to Storytime Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the film from 2008, Eden Lake. Without any further, let's get started. At the beginning of the movie, Steve and Jenny are shown to us. Steve is shown waiting in his car to pick up Jenny, his teacher girlfriend, for a weekend trip to a lake where he intends to propose her. Throughout their journey, a radio program gently teases what's to come by talking about the increasing difficulties parents face in managing their kids' behavior. After arriving in the lakeside village, they make the decision to spend the night in a nearby bar. But it soon becomes apparent that the locals do not appreciate them. The following day they travel far into the forest till they arrive at the lake. While exploring the thick forests, they come across an alone kid who has become interested in studying insects. Jenny follows her gut as a teacher approaches him to strike up a conversation, but the boy seems reclusive and prefers to be alone himself. They decide to respect his desires and allow him to continue his actions uninterrupted. They are enjoying the pleasant weather by the lake when two teens show up and start to bother the child they had met earlier, which causes him to flee. As the day goes on, a group of teenagers gather on the nearby beach, and their noisy behavior, loud music, and unattended dog, who is always bugging Jenny, are creating a disturbance. Steve chooses to intervene and speak to the group, kindly requesting that they stop playing music and keep their dog under control. However, teenagers treat his kind request with obvious disdain. Steve decides not to escalate the matter further after feeling mocked by these young people. He takes the initiative to turn down the music and then leaves. The group defiantly turns up the music again right away. And as they depart, they start hurling insults and engaging in inappropriate conduct. At this point, as it is clear that this is not going to be an isolated incident, the couple is in for some difficulty. The following day, Steve and Jenny attempt to leave for breakfast, and as they attempt to drive away, puncturing their brakes, the bottle shatters. They discover that one of the teenagers has hidden a glass bottle beneath their car wheel. At first appearance, the group's activities, from outright property damage to insulting Steve's manhood in front of his fiancée, seem random and not very harsh, but things are about to become worse. Later that day, when Jenny is dozing off on the beach and Steve has just returned from a scuba dive, they find out that their car keys, which were in their beach bag, have been taken. His mind is racing to the worst scenario. When they get at the spot where he parked his car, Steve's concerns come true. The car is gone. In an attempt to locate their car, they decide to go into the forest. Suddenly, they narrowly escape being struck by their own car, which the teenagers have seized for a fun. The teenagers speed into the thick forest, with a trail of taunts in their behind. When morning turns into the night, Steve and Jenny continue to look for their car. Following a tortuous trek through the thick forests, they discover a group of teenagers gathered around a campfire, torturing a helpless badger. When Steve approaches Brett, the group's leader, he is threatened with a knife and get attacked by the group and their dog. In the resulting confusion, Steve is able to remove the knife, unintentionally killing their dog throughout the process. The current incident is the first time that this group of teenagers has had to deal with the consequences of their careless and destructive actions. However, they regarded this not as a consequence of their acts, but as an affront to them, even though they were the ones who started the whole thing by taking the car and not giving Steve back his belongings. Because they are consumed by a desire for vengeance, the group start a relentless pursuit on Jenny and Steve, who are frantically attempting to get their keys back and flee. During their pursuit, they throw pebbles at the car, breaking the headlights and rendering Steve nearly blind, which leads him to collide with a fallen tree. As the impact clamps him to his seat, he becomes motionless. Despite Steve's encouragement to go obtain aid and protect herself, but Jenny chooses to remain hidden in a nearby bush until morning. When she returns to the car to find him, she finds out that Steve has been being moved. Only a short distance from the spot of the crash, she finds a terrifying discovery. The teenagers have Steve, who is battered and bloody, tied up with barbed wire against a tree stump. unable to move. She overhears their conversation as Brett decides that the seriousness of their acts and what they are about to undertake, they must stand together given. He intends to involve everyone in the action in order to discourage people from approaching the police. He orders a girl from the group to film them, while they alternately stab Steve and cause serious wounds. After they've all had a turn assaulting him, they see Jenny, who has just watched in horror as one of the boys stabs Steve in the mouth. They immediately begin to pursue her, making it more and more clear that they intend to cause her similar if not more serious harm. Thanks to this distraction, Steve is given the opportunity to use his strength, overcome his limitations, and free himself. He dashes back to the car to grab a weapon, and, when Jenny nearly runs into him, Steve almost beheads her in the process. What started off as a bunch of rowdy teens having fun and getting into trouble has turned into something much darker. They have shown that they are prepared to torture and kidnap people, and considering the seriousness of their acts, it appears that murder is the only reasonable next step for them. They must fix their mistakes immediately because there is no way to go back now, and they cannot risk leaving any proof behind. Steve and Jenny seek safety in an abandoned bird-watching hut, where Jenny painfully realizes that Steve's wounds are more serious than simple scrapes. One of the teenagers has caused a severe injury that might be deadly, and it appears to be working as intended.
God, that's black blood.
Jenny is forced to face the terrible fact that Steve will probably die from his wounds if he does not receive medical attention right away.
For arrest. And then...
Now that his movement is severely limited, Steve must stay hidden in a bush. While Jenny desperately tries to find help by returning to the village. In the untamed forests, Jenny finds herself sprinting at full speed, but she is too hurried to notice the metal spike in her path before it is too late. As the spike pierces her foot, passing right through, she screams in sheer agony. Since the spike is so deeply implanted in her foot, she is unable to continue. When she tries to remove it, but soon learns that it's stuck, and that the only way to do so is to pull while pressing her foot against a rock. In spite of the excruciating agony, she is able to free her foot from the spike. Following this horrific experience, she runs into the same lone child that she and Steve had previously met.
It's Jenny, remember me?
Now, drenched in mud and smeared with Steve's and her own blood, Jenny persuades the boy to assist her in escaping the thick forest. The kid hesitates for a bit until agreeing to lead her. However, as they move around, Jenny begins to sense that something is off. Since the boy's statements are contradictory, like a kid caught in a lie, before she can act on her worries, she is trapped in a trap.
Adam, your mama is coming to get you.
The kid has led her straight to a gang of teens, and in an attempt to fit in with the group, he betrays Jenny. He soon realizes how grave his mistake was. When Jenny awakens from a violent blow, she finds herself bound next to Steve, who has lost all life. After locating him, the group either struck him the fatal blow or simply let him bleed to death. In a terrifying situation, a group has tied Jenny and Steve's dead body together while using gathered sticks to build a big fire. They soak them with gasoline to prepare them for the flames. A member of the group, Brett, forces a little boy to start the fire by giving him a box of matches, guaranteeing his quiet by making him an accomplice in the deed. While filming the incident, Brett is clearly excited as he takes in the moment of the burning body and the upcoming Jenny. But as the fire becomes stronger, it breaks through Jenny's restraints, giving her an opportunity to go. A horrible turn of events occurs when Brett grabs the kid and threatens to burn him if Jenny doesn't come back. Before she can even respond, Brett drowns the boy's head in gasoline and burns him alive. The air is filled with the boy's excruciating screams, and Jenny briefly turns back to see the boy's upper body completely engulfed in flames, and she vomited over the incident. Having witnessed the horrific events play out in front of her and the group's vicious killing of her boyfriend, Jenny is aware that she needs to be ready to defend herself, even if it means killing someone. This is exactly what she does. She picks up a piece of shattered glass. And when one of the little boys comes toward her, she turns around quickly and stabs him in the neck, instantly killing him. During her frantic escape, Jenny runs into a man who doesn't appear to be a threat to her while driving through the forest. It turns out that he is one of the kid's older brothers. While looking for his sibling, the man offers Jenny a ride.
Someone back there.
But he eventually gets out of the car to talk to one of the kids, Jenny feeling that this might have a negative impact on her, and then Jenny takes advantage of the moment to gain control, seizes the car, and drives off, intentionally striking a female group member who crosses the road. Panicked and high on adrenaline, Jenny drives recklessly till she arrives at the village. She just escapes a collision with another car, but she crashes into a local's garden instead. Stumbling to the rear of the property, she finds a party going on before passing out from tiredness. Here, she discovers a place of safety where she can be helped and protected by good-hearted individuals.
Lots of big ugly men around.
Fortunately, after being escorted inside by the people living there, she makes the unsettling discovery that she is in the house of one of the teens who were a part of her experience. This insight chills her to the bone and makes her already unstable circumstances much more complicated. She finds herself in Brett's home and goes to the restroom in search of a hiding spot. While they are looking for a weapon, she hears the parents learning of their children's terrible fate. Overcome with grief and rage, they smash down the restroom door. Even though Jenny tries to explain that she is the victim, they are too distraught to listen. According to Brett's story, Jenny and Steve are the antagonists in this terrible situation. Reiterating his son's feelings, Brett's father rallies the group by highlighting the importance of standing together and defending their own. After bringing Jenny back inside, he then shuts the restroom door. In this tragic and heartbreaking murder story, the screams of Jenny reverberate throughout the house. Ends with Brett, who is mostly responsible for all of this suffering, staring into the mirror while deleting any evidence that could be used against him from phone. He then puts on Steve's sunglasses for the last time, and the movie ends with the same sense of despair that has pervaded it the entire time. Thanks for watching, and remember to turn on your notifications to watch more movie recaps like this one.